Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see what if Issei become the Black Dragon of Oblivion Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. An unknown dragon appears. In the underworld, a secret meeting was taking place between the leaders of the three factions. Azazel, why did you call us here again? Asked Serziches, his tone was one of disdain. Yes, Azazel, why did you call us here? Asked Chief Michael in a frank inquisitive manner. Azazel began, you two should know already. Serziches quickly interrupted him, if this about that black dragon you're obsessed with, I have better things to do than. Azazel quietly whispered, there have been 3 drainings in the past 24 hours. Serziches' eyes widened, he knew that Azazel was onto something, he just didn't want to believe it himself. Chief Michael was still silent. Serziches, began Azazel. 3 high-ranking devils have been found in their homes dead with their very life force completely gone. Only one creature is capable of that, the Black Dragon Emperor. His power rivals Office and Great Red. We are still unclear of his intentions at this point, but we need to find him and make contact with him before one of us becomes his next target. Chief Michael finally spoke, I can attest to his rumored strength, God once spoke of him. Even God was terrified of him. Serziches frowned, his eyes closed as he let out a heavy sigh. Well, Azazel, how do you intend to find this dragon? Azazel smirked, I believe he is trying to make contact with Issei. I have been feeling a strange presence for quite some time in Ria's terrority. I have put spies on all new people in the town, everyone is being watched, I have a few candidates who may very well be who we are searching for. The great devil Lucifer and the archangel nodded, signifying their approval of the governor-general's plan. This meeting is adjourned, said Serziches. Meanwhile back in Ria's town. Hey, D, can you move the forklift back to receiving, said a manager at a local warehouse. Sure thing boss, after that I'm heading home, said Dante. Sure thing kid, see you tomorrow. Dante Castle was a young man only 19. He moved to Japan to stay with his dad who was a Marine. A Marine who was never home. Dante had short brown hair, wasn't too tall or too short and was very muscular, with piercing blue eyes. He worked every day at a local warehouse trying to make ends meet. Dante clocked out and lit a cigarette and headed home. Dante knew he was being trailed and it bothered him. Ever since he moved here he felt as though someone was always watching, he was sick of it. But, he was just a normal working man, nothing he could do about it. He finally made it home and opened the door. His words, I'm home, echoed throughout the empty house. Dante let out a heavy sigh and began to cook his dinner. He missed his girlfriend and he missed his home. But after what happened he could never go back home again. Dante finished his meal, turned on the TV, and grabbed a case of beer. An hour or 2 passed and Dante's watch began beeping. He knew it was time. Dante quickly finished the remaining beers and went to shower and get dressed. A quick shower later he donned jeans, old combat boots which belonged to his father, a white t-shirt and his leather jacket. He went out to the small shed beside his house and got out his motorcycle, a Ducati Monster. He strapped on his helmet and went for a ride. He was sick and tired of being followed and hoped whoever was following him would just leave. Dante's mind began to slip, he turned down an alley and gunned it, his mind went blank. Azazel, this is Recon Unit 1. Subject 23 might be on to us, what should I do? Azazel quickly responded, get out of there now, hurry. Azazel knew no simple human could detect Azazel's best spy. It was too late, Dante disappeared in the alley. The fallen angel was puzzled, he just disappeared. When the fallen angel turned around her neck was in the grip of the Black Dragon Emperor. His black armor was as dark as the night sky, his red eyes pierced into the very soul of the fallen angel. His deep ebony dragon wings whapped through the sky, the black dragon began to speak. Who the fuck sent you, answer me. His black armored claw slowly began to squeeze the neck of the horrified fallen angel. He loosened his grip so the shaken fallen angel could barely mutter a plea for mercy. The Black Dragon Emperor laughed, his cold laughter made the fallen angel even more worried for her little life. The Black Dragon began to speak, it would be a shame if I were to kill you, such a nice body, wasted. Tight ass, nice rack, easy on the eyes too. Azazel appeared, Black Dragon, let her go. The Black Dragon slowly turned around and was face to face with the Governor-General of the Fallen Angels. The Black Dragon could sense Azazel was trembling, but listened to him anyway. Black Dragon, why are you here? What do you want? Said Azazel. The Black Dragon began, that should be obvious, I want to see the Red Dragon. The next day. Issei, I need you to step up your contracts. Said the redeeted ruined Princess Ria's Gremory. I will if I get to touch those sweet cans. Ria's blushed, Issei. Oh, should I said that aloud didn't I? Sorry President. The sun shone through into the occult research club room. Drake began to speak to Issei. Issei, someone is coming for you. I need you to be careful. Issei began speaking back to Drake. What the hell does that mean? Suddenly Issei's conversation with his arm was interrupted when Azazel appeared in the club room. Issei, began Azazel. Yes, muttered Issei. I need to speak with you. In private Azazel glared at Riaz. Riaz got the message and left the club room. Azazel sat down at the desk, put up his feet and cracked his knuckles. Have you heard the legend of the Black Dragon Emperor? Issei shook his head. I thought not. Said Azazel. Let me tell you, during the Great War there was a black dragon who wanted to live in peace with his love. But, one day his wife was accidentally killed in a battle. The black dragon awakened, he stalked the battlefields killing anyone who got in his way. He wanted to end the Great War, so he killed God and Satan. To stop the black dragon a task force was created, which included Albion and Drake. They were all needed to stop the black dragon's rampage. The black dragon, in an effort to preserve himself, possessed a human. And he went into hiding more than satisfied with his kills. He disappeared never to be seen again until now. Issei quickly asked Drake if this was true. The red dragon confirmed the veracity of the Governor General's claims. For some reason Issei felt tense, like the marrow in his bones was shifting around just hearing the story of the Black Dragon Emperor. Issei really didn't want to fight whoever this was. Azazel then flashed back to his conversation with the Black Dragon Emperor. Why do you want to meet Issei? Asked Azazel firmly. Because I want to, I get to do whatever the hell I want, all you need to know is a dragon wants to meet a fellow dragon. Azazel could feel the black dragon's power and killing intent. Azazel responded, fine, just don't do anything stupid. The black dragon chuckled, was that a threat? Fool. Idle threats will do nothing to change my opinion and what I want to do. Now, I must be going. The black dragon emperor tossed aside the unconscious body of Azazel's best spy. The black dragon then disappeared into thin air. Not a single magic circle appeared, he just vanished. Azazel told Issei to be careful, then left to inform Sir Zetches of the current developments. Dante's house, that morning. Dante awoke, he felt exhausted and drowsy. He had no recollection of the night before. He can remember riding his motorcycle, but after that, it just becomes a blur. Man, I gotta stop drinking and riding. Dante said to himself, chuckling. Dante checked his phone to see a strange text from his boss. D, you can have the day off. We had an accident last night so the warehouse is shut down for today. Have a good day off. Dante was relieved, he would have been late to work had the warehouse not be shut down. He checked his calendar to see a strange note on the day. Visit Cow Academy and find a boy named Issei Hayato. He tried to ignore the strange note with humor. Man, drunk me can be weird sometimes. But the note seemed too well written and not sloppy enough to be drunk, then why doesn't he remember it then? Dante got dressed and headed to the school, Kuo Academy. His mind began slipping. When he reached the gates, his mind went blank. Black dragon, scale mail, Oblivion armor. Issei was now alone in the club room, but his time to think was interrupted when Riaz came back in, as well as the rest of the occult research club. Riaz was curious about what Azazel had to say, but she didn't pry. Everyone sat down and they started talking about contracts, until suddenly a black flash followed by smoke enveloped the room. Drake responded, Welsh dragon scale mail, boost Issei's armor activated automatically. Hiba and Zenobia had drawn their swords, Gasper was crying, Kaneko shielded Asia, Riaz and Akeno had readied their powers. A cold chuckle could be heard by the group, they all felt it. The aura and power was unbelievable, it sent all but Issei to their knees. The chuckling stopped and as the smoke cleared Issei was face to face with the Black Dragon Emperor's infernal form. His armor looked almost identical to Issei's, but it was black with red lights and red eyes. Issei was trembling. Bragg began to speak. So, it's good to see you again, Alduin. The Black Dragon responded in a heartfelt tone, yes, I've missed you, still sorry for interrupting your battle with Albion. Anyways, I need to speak with you and Issei, in private. Bragg responded, very well, what do you have planned, Black One? The Black Dragon chuckled, you will just have to see and find out. The Black Dragon enveloped Issei with his shadowy wings and disappeared without a trace. The orcs slowly rose to their feet, the black mist dissipated, and Riaz went into panic mode. Her beloved pawn was gone. She began, how did this happen? Who is responsible? I shall make them pay. Hiba and the others attempted to calm the ruined princess down. In another part of the world not too far away the Black Dragon changed his form into one of a human. The human form had long black hair with deep red eyes. Issei found himself in a normal-looking living room. The Black Dragon cleared his throat and spoke, Issei, this is my humble house. I am not totally familiar with what you do when you have guests over, so I only have beer. The Black Dragon let out a hearty laugh which helped Issei calm down a bit. The Black Dragon left into the other room. Issei began to think. What am I doing here, Drake, help me. Really boy, trust me if Alduin wanted you dead he would have devoured your very soul already. Issei gulped in fear of Alduin's power. The black dragon returned with a few buds and smile on his face. Issei felt it disconcerting that such a powerful being took pleasure in such simple things. Back in the clubroom the orc had calmed Riaz down and they had accepted that if the black dragon wanted to kill Issei, he would have. Azazel and Surziches appeared in the clubroom to gather information about the black dragon. "What do you mean he took Issei?" said Surziches. "We can't allow such a powerful being to get their hands on a Longinus piece." Azazel consoled Surziches, "Don't worry about it, the black dragon isn't a harbinger of death, remember why he took to the skies all those years ago? He took to the skies in vengeance of what we did. Don't forget that." Surziches sighed, "I guess you are right Azazel, I just don't know what I would have done if he took Riaz." Azazel turned around to speak to the orc, "Listen up kids, the Devil King and I are headed to look for the dragon. It's best if you stay here." Riaz began to speak with obvious support from her servants, "We want to help too, he's our friend." Azazel simply shook his head. "You kids have no concept of his power, we don't want to make him feel nervous. If we do, he will react. Just stay here and hold down the fort. Lord Michael is on his way back here now. We will be having a meeting here tomorrow. For your protection, we need you to stay here." Meanwhile at Alduin's house, "Whoa Alduin, you love porn too?" asked a shitfaced Issei while going through the black dragon's stash in his living room. Alduin began, "Yes, I love it. I am familiar with your perversions." Alduin chuckled. Issei was calm and felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, acceptance. Issei felt that even if he wasn't possessed by Drag, Alduin would still be like this with guests. "Issei, I think you've had a bit much. Maybe we could talk another time, I can take you home," said a heartfelt black dragon. "Yeah, burp, maybe I've had a bit much." Issei's thoughts trailed off as he fell asleep on the black dragon's floor. Alduin began to speak to himself, "Well now Dante, tomorrow you will have a lot to worry about. Sorry partner, I know you don't want to face me or yourself, but it's about time you do, you've done enough running." Azazel felt it wasn't right to reveal his findings about his scouting to Surziches, he felt a malicious intent from Surziches. The Governor General and Devil King scoured the underworld and realm of the living for Issei, but to no avail. Back in the clubroom Riaz was debriefing Sona on the upcoming events. Until Seraphol Leviathan appeared, drowning her sister with love. Seraphol was worried and upset. "If this black dragon meanie shows up again, I'll kill him." Chief Michael along with Irina arrived in the clubroom. "Hello, all of you, nice to see you all again," said the Archangel. Surziches and Azazel appeared in the clubroom. The meeting was about to begin, the fear could be smelled for miles. Alduin could smell it outside of the school. He was ready to formally introduce himself. All the great powers in one place, black dragon scale mail, Oblivion armor. Awakening. The orc room began to shake, the table the great powers sat around seemingly shook itself apart. The moon vanished from the night sky to be engulfed in an ebony cloud. The panicked Surziches spoke, "Everyone, quickly we need to prepare ourselves." He was cut short when the ceiling caved in, a laughing armored dragon slowly descended into the room. A foolish Seraphol Leviathan released a magic attack. The black dragon emperor held out his arm, the magic attack slowly evaporated as an ominous voice echoed absorbed. He began to speak, "I don't wish to fight, but if you want to test me I'm more than ready." The black dragon emperor let out a sigh and started his dissertation. "Listen, I only wanted to talk, but when you put up a barrier, pointing to the sky, it's not very inviting. Anyways, I just wanted to let you know that Issei is safe." The dragon emperor turned to the heiress of the Gremory clan, "Your servant is fine. You have all been wondering why have I returned. I am here to tell you. I only desire a few things," he continued while slowly landing on the ground. "One of those things is to help, I want to help a fellow dragon. You fools have failed to realize what is going on with Issei. Let me ask you a few questions before I leave. Do you really think Issei is able to take Folly's power, even though they are conflicting existences with no consequences? And what about activating Juggernaut Drive? Can he just do that without any negative consequences further down the road? How far do you think he has pushed his body and his mind? Just think about it. I'll be taking my leave. I hope to see you all again soon." The black dragon bowed and vanished. As everyone slowly collected themselves, the Mayus turned to Azazel to ask about the black dragon's powers. Seraphol still hadn't collected herself, her massive magic attack with the power of being a Leviathan was simply consumed in an instant. Azazel shrugged and said, "Well, I wasn't sure if that power actually existed or not." Surziches asked confused, "What do you mean you weren't sure, what is that power?" Azazel sighed, "Listen up, since the black dragon was never killed or sealed away, his full powers can be accessed. The black dragon has seemed to model his powers after the other dragon Longinus pieces. While Issei can boost his power and Volley can divide his opponent's powers, the black dragon can consume his opponent's power and use them to feed and sustain his own powers. It is a dangerous and unpredictable sacred gear move we don't know much about. It was called Absorption Drive. I believe it was modeled after the Black Dragon's true form. Since he was never killed, it is wise to assume that whoever the Black Dragon Emperor truly is, they can access all his powers in true form. The Archangel was afraid. His full powers. Why did we never destroy this creature, God, why? Back at Dante's house, he awoke with a massive headache and felt sore. His body wasn't listening to him, he could barely move from his bed. It was almost dawn and he knew he had to go to work. He somehow managed to get dressed and headed downstairs to leave until he saw a boy sleeping on his couch. "The fuck," Dante whispered to himself. Dante's headache grew. Inside his mind he could see blackness and flames. He fell to his knees and gritted his teeth. What was this? He had seen it before. He knows what this is. Dante staggered out of his house and headed to work in an attempt to put his mind out of whatever was going on. He didn't even know why he worked, besides the money. What made him keep going day in and day out? What was he hiding from? By this time the other mythologies had been contacted about the Black Dragon's reappearance. Odin was going to the underworld to formally apologize for Loki's curse on Rhea's, but he also had to learn about the Black Dragon Emperor. Thor himself accompanied Odin just in case. The Orc Room had already been repaired and a high-level meeting was taking place between the three factions and Odin. All the Orc, Arena and the Grimory's newest addition Roswas had all been banned from the meeting. Why did Odin ban me? Was I too much to see? The ditzy Valkyrie who became a devil Roswas was beside herself as Arena talked to the group. I don't think this dragon is evil, think about it. Everyone thought the dragon was evil and wanted to kill it. Imagine how he felt. He didn't kill anyone before Arena could finish. Rhea's interjected. He already killed 3 high-ranking devils, said Rhea's. Sounds like a you problem, whispered Arena. He is so strong, but what does he want with Issei? Said Akeno. Issei had already awoken and just arrived to see the whole group. Hey guys, sorry about that. Issei, cried the orc. He was mauled by the girls as they hugged him, very glad to see him. But also, curious as to what the Black Dragon did with him. You got drunk with the Black Dragon Emperor, screamed the ruined princess. I was so worried. Well, what did you find out about him? Issei looked down to the ground and spoke quietly, deliberately choosing each word. Well, actually he was really nice. He invited me over and was worried about me. He wanted to make sure I was okay. The group slowly started to wonder who this Black Dragon is and why he seems to be almost docile. Dante got off work and headed home, but his headaches persisted. He finally arrived home only to collapse on his bed, exhausted and drained of energy. A furious battle was raging inside his mind. Dante, ignoring me isn't good for your health, you know I am here. I am still sorry for what happened. Inside his own mind Dante responded, who are you? Alduin quickly responded, you know who I am. It is time you stopped running from what you did. Your past is your past. I will always be here for you, as you have been for me. Alduin, I am sorry. I just didn't want to accept my powers. I still can't. Alduin responded curtly, I know, I am trying my best. All I ask of you is for you to do your very best, that's part of the contract. Dante knew it was, but after what happened he thought he could never forgive Alduin. I know you almost don't want to forgive my Dante. I tried to save her, I did. But there is a limit to what I can do. I shouldn't have given you all my powers, but I had to. There was no way we would have made it out alive back then. Dante raised his voice, shut up. Get out of my head, I don't want to remember, I can't. Alduin sighed, you have to remember, otherwise your pain will consume you. Is that what you want? To destroy this world? Dante thought for a second before responding, maybe it. Alduin quickly responded, whatever you do, it won't bring her back. I tried that once eons ago. Don't follow the same path I did. Dante remembered, the flames, the blood, the hate and pain. You remember, now don't you? I think I've done enough. You should rest. I'm not asking you to accept the power, I'm only asking you remember what happened to you. Dante's dream disappeared into fiery flames, then into blackness. A painful reminder. 2.5 years ago. Dante, pay attention in class, you still need to pass, said a concerned girlfriend. I know, I just don't care, you know, said a disheartened Dante. The beautiful girl responded, Dante, we are studying after school. Dante chuckled, alright. Dante was only 17 and was a senior in high school in America. He was never the best student and was a major delinquent. The only thing that kept him going was his girlfriend. Dante lived at home with his mother. That day after school, come on babe, let's roll, said Dante while revving his motorcycle. He was only 17, but laws didn't really concern him. He had his fake ID and looked old enough to be riding. The young girl put on the helmet and they headed home. The girl's name was Sarah. She had deep black hair with bangs and perfect blemish-free porcelain skin. Dante liked her tight curvaceous ass and body with perfect tits, not too big, not too small. Dante had always been a slight pervert. They rolled out onto the freeway and Dante gunned it. The open road was one of the only places Dante felt free. "Dante, I am feeling a strange presence," said Alduin. Dante quickly responded to the dragon in his mind. "Alduin, it'll be fine, partner. Trust me. Even if shit ever hits the fan, I'll always be here. We're partners after all." Alduin responded, "You're right, I'll calm down, have fun with Sarah." The black dragon's slow chuckles faded as Dante focused on the road. The couple arrived back at Dante's house. He pulled the bike into the garage and the couple headed into the house. "Mom, I'm home." An older blonde woman who was the kindest mom ever emerged from the kitchen. "Hi sweetheart, how is your girlfriend?" Sarah blushed. Dante's mom's kindness was still hard to get used to. "I'm fine, Mrs. Castle, how are you?" said Sarah. Dante's mom let out a big smile. "I'm fine, dear, I've made cookies and have drinks too for you guys. Make sure to do lots of studying." Dante's mom beamed. Dante and Sarah retreated upstairs to Dante's room. "We will, Mom, thanks." They sat down at a small table Dante had in his room as they attempted to do math homework. "B, check this one." Sarah's small delicate hand extended, a single finger pointing at a problem. The air was tense and thick. The young couple's hands finally met on a textbook. Their eyes locked and Dante's arms wrapped around Sarah, their lips locked. Passionately embracing and kissing, they slowly withdrew from the kiss. A trail of salvia between the two connecting their lips could be seen. They both knew what was going to happen next. Frantically the two young lovers undressed, revealing their bodies to one another. Dante had scars all over, with a tattoo on his back of what looked almost like a dragon. Sarah didn't care, she loved him anyways. His kindness and love were enough for her. Sarah wrapped her legs around Dante, whispering, "Fuck me, I don't want to walk tomorrow." Dante obliged, ripping in and out his penis, kissing her cervix and grinding her pussy up with his thick penis. To quiet her down, he locked her lips with his. Sarah wrapped her arms around Dante, her nails digging into his back. She could hardly contain herself, the pure ecstasy of Dante pleasuring her pussy and their tongues interlocked. It was bliss. "Fuck, I'm gonna cum, you're so tight babe." Dante's word trailed off as he focused back on pleasuring his girlfriend. "Me too, let's at the same time," panted Sarah. Dante picked up the pace. "Fuck, here it comes." Sarah, her mind barely even in the world anymore, consumed by pleasure. "Do it, Dante, fill me up ahhh," Sarah moaned. Well, Dante grunted, finishing inside her. Almost simultaneously, "I love you." As Dante removed his penis, a trail of a thick white creamy liquid oozed out of Sarah's vagina. "We should probably shower," said Dante. The two were drowned in sweat and a burst of euphoria still remained in their heads. The two got in the shower and bathed. Dante knew his mom was home, but she would be downstairs watching TV, she wouldn't have heard anything. Even if she did, she wouldn't have cared. Suddenly a loud crash could be heard. Dante ignored it and the two got dressed and were going to finish studying until another crash. Suddenly Alduin appeared in Dante's mind. "Partner, we have a problem." Quickly Alduin's words trailed off as the door to Dante's room collapsed. Dante went for his gun, covering Sarah with his muscular arms. He aimed the gun at the cloud of smoke at the front of the room. Dante quickly said, "Whoever you are, get down now, keep your hands up in the air." Dante's words were cut off when a spear enveloped in a purple glow pierced through his arm and hitting Sarah in the gut. Dante screamed, not in pain, but in anger. "Bastard." He quickly dumped an entire magazine of 9mm 124 grain JHP Hydra shock rounds into the smoke. 15 rounds out of the barrel of his father's handgun. The smoke cleared to reveal his mother. With tears in her lifeless eyes and a mysterious arm around her neck. Dante had killed his mother, his lover was injured, his hate surpassed whatever control he had on his powers. He screamed aloud, "Alduin, Black Dragon, Scale Mail, Oblivion Armor." Dante tried to compose himself, but he couldn't. Alduin could sense Dante's mind slipping, so he activated a hidden move, Dimensional Shift. Alduin had the power to shift between dimensions. As the house slowly disappeared, as he became enveloped in the dimensional gap before his eyes, he could see a fallen angel, a devil and a small girl wearing what looked like some strange maid outfit. Dante charged at the fallen angel, digging his claws into the fallen angel's body. The fallen angel was an older man. Absorption drive echoed throughout the gap as Dante drained the life out of the fallen angel. The devil started releasing magic attacks, only for each attack to be consumed by Dante, again and again absorbed. X10 could be heard as Dante finished draining the fallen angel. He turned his sights to the devil. The devil screamed in fear, "Monster." Dante stopped in his tracks. "Monster, I'll show you a real monster. Black Dragon, true form, god of Oblivion." Dante shouted out with his raging words. "I who shall awaken. I am the dragon who stole all from God. I despise the infinity and will consume the dream. I shall become the Black Dragon, god of Oblivion. I shall devour your very essence. The Garnot Drive, true form." Dante had activated and unleashed the true form of the Black Dragon Emperor. He rose to nearly 100 meters in height. He looked like a Western dragon. with ebony scales and an armored reptilian hide. He had piercing red eyes and a roar to deafen those who would not obey his power. The devil was consumed by absorption drive in a single instant. Dante, or rather, Alduin, roared in anguish. The girl appeared again, it was Office. She released attack after attack in a vain attempt to overload absorption drive, but to no avail. Alduin used his paw to reach and grab Orpheus. Alduin was absorbing Office, but a quick-thinking Office released a burst of magic and overloaded Alduin. Office vanished and disappeared to leave Alduin alone in the gap. Alduin let out one final long roar of pure mental and physical anguish. He deactivated dimensional shift and went back to the human realm. Dante was back in control and was once again in his room. He went to Sarah and held her lifeless corpse, his tears fell on Sarah's cold body. Dante knew what it felt like to be cold and alone. Alduin sensed this and took Dante over before Dante went berserk. "I'm sorry partner, I refuse to let you be consumed by pain. This is exactly what that bitch Office wanted. I won't let her have it. I'm sorry partner, forgive me." Alduin wiped Dante of his memories of this day and planted new ones. All that was left was some of the emotions. Alduin decided it would be a good idea to go to Dante's father. Captain Castle was a marine stationed in Japan. So, Alduin moved there in Dante's form and got Dante a job to keep him preoccupied. He used magic on Dante's father to make him agree to it all and live at his house in Japan. Dante had lived in Japan for 2.5 years before Azazel suspected him. Present-day Japan, Dante's house. "Sorry partner, but you remember now." Dante was laying on his bed drenched in his own sweat. "Yep, sorry Alduin. Don't worry partner, it's time you put this behind yourself now." Dante sighed. "Maybe you're right Alduin." Meanwhile at the Chaos Brigade headquarters, Office was telling Volley of the powerful dragon Volley had to face before he could face Great Red. Volley said, "I'll defeat this dragon and Issei. I'll go now and interrupt their meeting." Office responded, "Not yet, but soon Volley, you will get your power and I will reclaim my silence," said Office. "Dante, I have a feeling that soon there will be a battle so great it will consume this very world," echoed Alduin. The dragon's heart. Dante was finally starting to accept his power. He was going to head to the academy to see Issei. He opened up the door to his house, cigarette hanging from his lips and slight smile. He turned around to close the door, but he suddenly felt a presence. He let out a sigh and spoke, "I can sense you." Archangel Michael and his sister were standing in front of Dante. Chief Michael sternly began, "We want to know what your intentions are." Dante chuckled, "You do huh? Well you don't know a fucking thing about me and what I've been through." Dante had spoken in a very cold manner. Chief Michael was almost worried, but Chief Michael sensed something. The black dragon's aura had changed. Chief Michael and Gabriel could feel and sense the hate and anguish obviously tormenting the dragon. Chief Michael began, "We can heal you, we can feel your pain." Dante burst out, "No you can't." Images of Sarah flooded his mind. "Partner, settle down, I sense not a single hint of malicious intent from them, only fear." Dante calmed down a bit after Alduin consoled him. Sometimes that big black dragon was his only friend. Chief Michael stepped aside to reveal his sister. A seraph named Gabriel. She was rather stunning, Dante thought to himself as to why she wasn't a fallen. Her looks were too good for heaven. Dante coldly brushed them off, "Maybe another time, I have shit I need to get done." Chief Michael said, "Very well. Maybe another time then." Dante chuckled, "Yes, perhaps another time." The seraphs left by way of magic circle. Dante headed to the Orc to see Issei and the group. He had no idea of the meeting. The Black Dragon Emperor showing up uninvited to a meeting again was sure to spell disaster, but Dante truly could give less of a shit. He wanted to make some friends. Perhaps Issei could understand him. Dante also wanted to warn Issei of the impending danger of his sacred gear. Back in the underworld. Surziches began. Auden, "I know it might be too early for me to say this, but this black dragon seems to be a problem of yours. There is nothing I can do about it. If he does threaten our alliance I will send Thor, however, I believe if we all start gathering, he may think it be affront to him and his power, it would be foolish to try and fight him. I'm taking my leave. Good to see you as always." Surziches began, "Thank you Auden, I believe you are right. If we do need your help I will not hesitate to call." Auden nodded and Thor and Auden left via magic circle. Seraphol, Leviathan, Surziches and Azazel all remained in the room. Seraphol began, "He was so strong, to simply consume my power like that." Azazel attempted to console her, "Don't worry about it. His powers are mostly unknown to us, it may have some sort of adverse effect on him." Surziches groaned, "I highly doubt it. I just hope he doesn't want war." Azazel and Surziches continued, while Seraphol couldn't help but keep replaying the situation in her mind. Dante was on his way to the clue room, but he felt something sinister in the underworld. When he consumed someone's magic without killing them, Dante could track them as he could sense the aura they emitted. He could feel something. He felt like it would be a good time to investigate. He teleported to the underworld and once again, this time accidentally, interrupted a high-level meeting by appearing in the middle of the room. Issei and Azazel readied their magic as an awestruck Leviathan fell to her knees in fear of the dragon's powers. Dante quickly began to speak to calm the great powers. I am not here to fight. I am here to talk. I wish to show you something. I am sorry for interrupting your meetings and killing those devils, however, I have a perfect explanation. Azazel and Issei quickly began to realize this person was different than who they met before. Dante began, you see I am here to help, I don't wish to fight, let me show you my mind. Azazel gasped, you have what power? That is an extremely dangerous move. Dante shrugged, I guess, but it's the only way you can see what I am. I could do one of two things. 1. I show you my mind and past. 2. I simply consume you out of rage and anger that in my opinion is justified. The great powers reluctantly agreed. Dante transformed into his infernal armored form and slowly moved toward Seraphol. I can sense her fear, I will do her first. Seraphol blushed. Me first, what are you talking about? Dante chuckled, you weren't paying attention, pretty girl. Let me show you. Dante placed his left arm on Seraphol's head and told her to relax. Seraphol entered the mind of Dante, she saw everything, the murder of his girlfriend and mother, the fight with Office, and she felt every emotion he felt. When Dante removed his hand from Seraphol, she had tears running down her face, her eyes were red with sadness. Out of an act of strange kindness, maybe even pity. She hugged him and embraced Dante and spoke. It's okay, the pain you suffered, the power you have, and the life you live, whispered a sobbing Leviathan. Dante was taken by complete surprise. Azazel laughed and said, you two look cute together. Issei cared more about what Seraphol saw. She squeezed Dante harder, Dante's armored form vanished, and it revealed his face. Dante was blushing. Issei calmed down a bit when he saw that the black dragon underneath it all is still only human. Issei was impressed he hadn't become consumed and corrupted by power. Issei began, I almost don't want to know what happened to you and leave you in peace, but I am curious. What is your name, boy? Dante responded, my name is Dante Castle, sir, I don't want any trouble. Issei responded, I can see that. You also want something else. A slight smirk appeared on the Devil King's face as he watched Dante's face become flustered by Seraphol's hug. Seraphol was still sobbing while Azazel spoke, what did you show her? Dante quickly responding, I showed her my mind and my past, she also felt 1/100th of the emotions I felt during that time. Azazel's eyes widened, 1/100th, and she still hasn't let you go. What the hell happened to you, kid? Dante smiled and spoke, a lot. But I haven't got a chance to tell you why I am here. You see, those devils I drained and killed were all aligning themselves with Office, I can sense the snake she placed within them. I will annihilate her very existence and wipe her from the pages of history and the minds of those she impacted. Dante's face was murderous, and everyone in the room could feel his killing intent. Anyways, began Dante, I need to be going, what I felt has seemed to have vanished. Issei quickly stopped Dante, wait, Black Dragon Emperor, I have a job offer for you. Dante looked confused and chose each word carefully, what do you mean, job offer? Issei smiled, it's just as it sounds. I want you to protect the school Riaz is at and. Seraphol interrupted and tried to speak between her sobbing which was subsiding, I could hire you too. Dante stopped both the Devil Kings and said, maybe some other time, but I need to go, now Issei is in great danger. Issei's and Azazel's eyes widened and they spoke simultaneously, what do you mean he is in danger? Dante spoke to keep them calmly, don't worry I will help him, don't worry about it. Before Dante could leave, Seraphol compassed herself and said, I am coming with you. Dante seemed surprised but was fine with this development. He didn't want to admit it, but Seraphol reminded her of Sarah. Dante quickly said, very well, just don't get in the way of my investigation. Seraphol wasn't used to being talked to like this. Everyone would be so afraid of her almost, but Dante didn't care, he was strong, forceful, but kind. She blushed and spoke, alright, let's go. Dante smiled and said, very well. This will be your first time teleporting with me, so come here. Dante motioned for Seraphol to come into Dante's arms. Dante spoke, my powers for transportation leave no traces, but I've never traveled with a passenger before, so hold on tight. Seraphol wrapped her arms around Dante and they vanished. Now lone Azazel said to Issei, you know maybe all he needs is love. Issei chuckled, to think we were so worried about his intentions. Azazel said to Issei, we still need to be careful with him. He does have access to Alduin's true form. End of the part 1 here. So how was the story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.